Alrighty. Welcome everyone. This is Kirbyfan5009. Also known as, I don't know. Some people call me Rumi, I guess, nowadays. So, this is DoReMi Fantasy for the Super Famicom. This was only released in Japan, but I guess I should get going soon. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So, the story of the game is basically Mylon and his friends are chilling in the forest. And he has a friend named Eris, who is like a fairy. Whoops, I didn't mean to pause there. And she gets kidnapped by a sorcerer named Emon. So you have to save her from Emon's castle. Using the power of music, probably. Oh, I haven't read the story, which, if you didn't know, that they released the game on Wii U Virtual Console like in 2008 or something. There's an English like summary, but I haven't read that in a while. So that's, I guess, my shaky interpretation of what goes on in the game. So I guess I picked up a power-up, so I guess I should explain the power-ups. The main like health indicator is the color of your clothes. So green, which I currently am, is I have 3 hits. Blue is 2 hits, and red is 1 hit and I die. So that's a situation you should avoid probably. I picked up candy, which saves you from falling into bottomless pits, but it has a good side effect of, like, it lets you control your aerial movement, so you can use it to cheese some platforming sections. There are ranged power-ups that let you target, or I guess like, it lets you shoot your bubble attacks farther and shoot more at the same time, which is good for your damage per second. And then one power-up we get later on, which is pretty good, is called the floaty shoes, which lets you hover in the air for a good bit of time, and lets you fly over some gameplay sections. So here's the mechanic we only use like twice. If you hold down the attack button, which is Y, it lets you fire bubble shots in multiple directions. But it's really niche because you have to wait around and charge it. And it's not like more DPS or anything compared to just normal shots, so it's not really that useful. So here's some little tech. You can duck under that guy and just get a nice easy speed tech, I guess. Oh, World 1 is kind of easy, freebie world. But in later worlds, we have to start picking up upgrades and stuff for our abilities or whatever. And that requires us to pick up like musical stars or something like that. And that gives us extra abilities to conquer the minigame's platform challenges. So currently, right now, we're in a labyrinth level, which requires us to find a key. It's not like too bad right now, but later worlds labyrinth levels are, I guess, they're not too crazy, but they're there. Right. So the first boss, to me, this is one of the more infamous ones to me, because this guy has some like very hidden speed tech that lets you like beat him before he climbs a tree. But I have no idea how it happens, so I just settle for just killing him whenever he shows up again. Even though it's slower. But I have no clue on how to get the fast patterns or not. Right. So, here's World 2. The world of sweets, I guess, is my rough interpretation of what the world names is, or whatever. So that's one of the many musical stars that we need to acquire to beat the game. And before you ask that, yes, you absolutely have to collect every single one of them, because the game doesn't let you progress otherwise, I guess. Oh, we're gonna use our candy power up to grab some floaty shoes. And from here on, I'm definitely afraid of dying, because I lose my shoes otherwise if I die. So yeah, that's pretty not good, you could say. Alright, so from here on, it's pretty straightforward how the game progresses, I guess. So it's just sometimes cool movement, except when it's not. Here's one of the other times you get to use your charge up, I guess. But yeah. So I'm gonna pick that for safety, I guess. I don't usually need that, but you never know. So, right here, we go up here to minimize lag, I guess, because there's a lot of enemies on screen, and also breaking blocks increases like sprites and stuff. So you want to avoid doing that for lag purposes. So I guess there's not much to talk about, so I'm gonna just answer questions. So I saw one about why this didn't get an American release, and probably there's probably a few reasons. Like, one is that this game came out in 1996, where that's like the very end of the SNES's life in America. Two, it's from the Mylon series, which isn't very popular, I guess, because Secret Castle wasn't that good, apparently. I haven't played much of it, but that's what I've gathered from the overall reception of the series at this point when the game came out. So I feel like I had another reason, but I forget at the moment. So here's an auto-scroller. This is like 5 minutes long for this one level. And then if you think this one's bad, then there's like 2 more in World like 6. That's another like 10 minutes of auto-scrollers. And it's no bueno, I guess. It kind of makes it difficult to speedrun this game a little bit. But it's okay, I guess. Yeah, I think, yeah, the Nintendo 64 should have been out by now, I think. That didn't stop games like Donkey Kong Country 3 releasing, though, which had Super Mario 64 references in it. Spoiler alert, maybe. Sorry, I apologize. So, yeah, there's not much going on, I guess, in the run right now. Intriguing thing to me is how, like, Japan keep getting, like, Super Nintendo games, like, even into the 2000s, which is crazy to me. It's cool, too. I like this system a good bit, so more games for it is pretty cool. Like, after the SNES died in the US, they got games like Mega Man and Beast, which I like that game a good bit. Like, Super Mario RPG was like 26, no, not 20, whatever. It was 1996, is what I mean. So, I guess, coming back to the game a bit, so, there are those wine bottle things, I guess? A hidden mechanic is that you can alter your trajectory a little bit by holding left and right, and you can cheese a tiny bit doing that, so it's not nothing too, like, big or anything. but it's something. So, the 5 stars I've been collecting, those, I just passed a roadblock, so I needed to collect all 5 of those stars, so now I got an ability from that roadblock area. So now I have the ability to push blocks, which you use a grand total of once in this game. It's like coming up in a few levels, so it's not too useful. I guess one silly thing about this level is that if you fall down that path, then you have to do the whole level over, basically. But you just go over to the right and around, and here's the exit. So, here's the second boss. His name is Cook, I think. And he is another RNG shenanigan boss, I guess. Kinda. So he starts off with an attack where he's spinning around the arena back and forth. And when he's doing that, he's invincible. So I want him to stop as soon as he can, which was right there. And I hope he doesn't start spinning again, so I can just throw bubbles at him. Alright, that was not bad. But yeah, he can start spinning again and become invincible. So, here's World 3, the concert hall. There's 5 more stars to get for more abilities. This world's ability is swimming. But you can guess what the next world's theme is, right? Just from that. So, this level we have to pick up the star and then loop around a little bit. Because one of the main gimmicks of the world is fake exits. But this level you can just stay up on the high ground and get to the real exit. So yeah, one of the hints they give you is that there were doors that have card suits on them, which lead to real exits. And like, the fake exits have like goal written in weird ways. But the real exits have like just the standard goal written around. Altered Beast, huh? I'm not familiar with that game too much. So, I don't know if that has to do with swimming or anything. So, I apologize. So, I think that's our second range power up. Or is it the multi-shot one, which lets us shoot 3 bubbles? Which, yeah, it's kind of weird that we're using bubbles as our main attack, but I guess that's the theme of this series. Desert. Like, I wish there was a desert. Maybe. I don't know. there's very much a lack of deserts. And desserts. Actually, maybe not desserts. We just passed that world. Never mind. Though, I guess it's a blessing that there's... I only know the one voice line from that game, so... Also, I'm dying, so I probably shouldn't be dying. So here's the power-up to prevent me from dying. So, we're good, I think. Hopefully. Yes. Yes, yes. I should find some health soon. Probably. Oh, watch out. Thank you for the free health that I didn't know that was there. I just took a gamble, I guess, and it paid off. I guess that's a double health right there, I guess. I didn't need a gamble, but it's fine, I guess. Oh, I missed a cycle, I guess. Oh, we gotta wait. Alrighty. I think there's like there's some cycle, I don't remember if it's tight or not, to achieve the speedy cycle or not. But hopefully you need to be going fast enough to be jumping on the mice in this next part to gain height. Like this guy right here, I was too late. And then I fell off. I needed that music sheet for a little tiny sequence break. Okay. So, we got our swimming ability. So now on to the next labyrinth level. There's on and off switches. I think I remember that you can't really open the door in this place if the lights are off. But that shouldn't be a problem because I think there's a light switch right by the door. That platform just showed up out of nowhere. So, yeah. So, this next boss is named Cardman, I think. Oh. This fight can go really well, or really not well. If RNG goes well, this fight can be pretty rewarding to do well. but the game has to cooperate. Wait, so this is the first part. I just need to hop on him until he dies. Hopefully. Alright. That was like almost the fast pattern, except I'm bad and didn't get an extra shot on him. But that was like probably the best fight I had in a while. That guy, so here's World 4. My splits say it's called the Village of Fairies, but I haven't checked whatever in a while, so I'm not too sure. And this is like the point where the game starts getting like a little spicy, I guess. Like, this game's not like super difficult, but it might throw people off guard on it being somewhat challenging. Also, that jump is impossible. Case in point, part 2. Alright. I guess how it works out. So the one of the worst parts about this world is that there's these birds that like dive bomb you, and it's not. They're kind of hard to predict if you don't know they're coming. So you just gotta know that they're going to show up and try to hit you. Oh. It's probably not the most fair level design, I guess, but you know what can you do, I guess. So one of the next levels coming up is probably one of my more favorite levels, because you can actually like do it kind of quickly, because you're basically on a snowboard sliding down a hill or something. You're getting carried along a current, and it improves your movement speed dramatically, and it's fun just interacting with that speed in a game where you're not really going that fast all the time. Well, I just winged that one, I guess, but it worked out. Oh, I was not crouching long enough. I'm gonna take a D-boost to just get flung into more health, I guess. But that was alright, I think. I took more damage than I wanted to, but that's okay. Actually, I want as much health as possible because this level's mean. I'm thinking, where do I go if I die here? Because I need to pick up shoes again if I die. I'm gonna check up here, I guess. That should do for a little bit. So that's all the stars for World 4. And I think the ability is the ability to uncover hidden blocks. So early on, all throughout the game, there are these sparkling spots where if you shoot them with your bubble now, after getting the power up here, they turn into blocks you can stand on, which in earlier levels you can use to get to bonus levels, which there are quite a few of them. One is like a target practice with birds. One is like there's like a curtain and items get flown across it and you have to pick out which items were shown, and you get 1-ups and stuff from it. I think there's a third one, but I'm not remembering what it is exactly. So this level has a cute glitch in it that really doesn't do much for speedrunning purposes, but it's something easy I can show off. So if you run onto a switch while crouching, you can store the animation. So you just waddle around like this for the whole level. But you have to like refresh it, because after a certain amount of time it's gonna wear off. But there's a lot of actions that refresh this animation, so you can keep it rolling for a bit. Alright. So, the World 4 boss. It's called like Elena or Elena, or I'm not really sure how you pronounce it. This boss is pretty easy in the speedrun setting because she is very stationary. And there's easy, free shots from bubbles. So she goes down fairly quickly. So now we're on to World 5, which, I don't know, it's just called Ice World, I guess. So the main gimmick of this world is that there's ice physics. But if you go back to the start of the first square, I guess, we went to with the cutscene we skipped over, you can get a power-up that removes the ice physics. Or most of them. Most of the ice physics. There's still like a little sliding, but it's nowhere near as bad as not picking up. But it's not like dramatic enough an improvement to be worth picking up in a speedrun. So we just ignore it, I guess. So that's the implementation of the hidden block mechanic. Honestly, that's probably one of the more useful power-ups. Behind swimming and the one we get in this world. But at least we use this power-up like a good few times in comparison to like block pushing. So, this is a nice level where floaty shoes is really good because you can skip most of it. No, this is not the sequel to Doki Doki Panic. I think I read that right. Maybe. I wish there was a sequel. Because Super Mario Bros. 2 is really cool, I think. And this is another really cool snowboarding level where you can go really fast compared to the rest of the game. Also, don't miss the jumps here because you can miss that one and have to restart the level. So yeah. This level's nothing special, I guess. Except there's that one lake spike, I guess. I don't think you can avoid it all. So we can use this guy as a platform. Get up here and sequence break a tiny bit. And go down here and exit the level. So this level is probably one of the most annoying levels to me. Because it's like really long. And there's wind physics, I guess. So, I don't know if this is like actual speed tech, but it feels like you go faster if you're in the air when you're going with the wind here. But when you're going against the wind, you probably want to be grounded for most of it. So here is star number 5. We get a new ability in the next cutscene. It lets us make ladders. Like that's an animation you hopefully never see ever in a speedrun. Because 1, it involves taking damage, which you don't want to do, and 2, it's a slow animation anyway. I forget if there's any health pickups anywhere in this part. Hopefully there is, maybe. Oh yeah, there's a health pickup. Because this next boss can be pretty spooky. Because the snowman coming up, he has an attack where he throws snowballs. And it's just the most random pattern. And it's really hard to judge where safe spots are, if there is any at all. So you're probably going to be soaking hits a few times. So, we only soaked one hit, but that's okay. So, World 6, I think. My splits say it's Rin Mountain, which I don't really know what that means, but if the game says that's what it's called, then guess I can't argue with it. So our first use of the ladder, we're going to use it for cheese. That's not an intended feature to use ladders like that, I guess. But we can use it to our advantage. So, I guess one of the notable things of this world is that there are these egg monsters. And the speed which they use their fire attack is random. So, in one section later on, you have to go by one of these egg monsters while like jumping above it, which you're like in prime like range of getting hit by the fire attack, but only if he uses the fast pattern. If he uses the slow pattern, then you have enough time to hit him with a bubble and get away unscathed. So yeah, here's another auto-scroller, and there's not much going on. So, I guess it's good time for questions or something. So I guess one like cool mechanic that I don't see in many other games is that this game caps your lives at 9, and you also get extra lives by collecting power-ups and getting notes. So if you're at 9 lives and get enough notes for another life, you get invincibility instead of just losing that extra life, which I think is pretty neat. So yeah, there's not much going on in this level. There's kind of some spooky jumps, I guess, but nothing too bad if you have floaty shoes. Oh, alright. That was a spicy jump. Now we get to actually go fast again. I don't know. Well, that was a fast fire pattern, but that's alright there. So this one, next one coming up is the one I was talking about, where you don't want a fire pattern, or else you're gonna get hit. I was just bad on that one. That was a slower pattern, but I didn't get my bubble out in time. Well, that was a spicy bit of leg there. So I don't know what causes that animation where you just stay paused in the air for a little bit. But probably would be better to avoid triggering the animation. But I don't really know what causes it in the first place, so I don't know how to fix that, I guess. So yeah, this game is not that easy at all. I assume it's more difficult, I guess, for a first playthrough, where you're probably going to be dying a few times, and thus you're not going to be having floaty shoes as much. They really make the game easier a lot. That's a spicy fireball placement. So, I guess what made me want to run this game, so I guess back in the day, I was probably watching a GDQ some time ago. It got me in the speedrunning itch, so I wanted to learn a game. So, and I saw this one was like fairly inactive. So I decided to run this one. And I cut the world record down by like 7 minutes. And nowadays, a person named Epic Neon Ninja Monkey cut the world record down another minute from my PB of 105.48. So, I like how the world record has improved a good bit since I started playing. Because I like seeing speedruns getting improved by the community. So I guess another like story with this game is, I guess I just watched a random YouTube video of this game back when it was on Wii Virtual Console, because that was like one of its neat features, is that you could play import games on it. They were like $1 more than the usual Super Nintendo games. So it's basically like this and Rondo of Blood were like the two big ones for that group of games. I hope there's extra health coming up soon. I don't think I want to be blue for this level. Ooh, that's a spicy one. Yeah, this level, like, you use ladders a lot. So yeah, this is one of the more tech-heavy levels, I guess. There's not much downtime at all. So this world's like power up, I guess, is a lie, I guess, because it's like you need to pick up the stars in this level anyway, but this world does not give you a power up at all, even though you need to pick up the stars still. So you just out of luck, I guess. There's another switch glitch, I guess. So here I want to get the key before hitting the switch. Because if you hit the switch first, then you get a worse pattern for getting the key. You have to wait longer. So these fire platforms, I think they're safe to stand on as... They're safe to stand on if the fire is at, like, the lowest, or, like, when you see the small flames is when they're still safe. But when they're, like, bigger is when it's not safe to stand on them. So here's a Sun and Moon boss. If you've played Kirby's Adventure, you know where this boss goes, probably. This is not a good pattern for this attack. Usually want him to fire upwards first. Ooh. I didn't want him to shoot from the right first. Ooh. These are some spicy dodges here. If I got one more hit in Moon Phase, that would have been a pretty good fight. So, this is the last two worlds of the game. The Town of Toys and Amon's Castle. These two worlds both share one pool of 5 stars to get for the last power-up in the game. So some of these levels don't have stars in them because it's split into 2 worlds. So this is probably one of the bigger levels for... I'm not going the right way. For the trajectory thing I mentioned earlier. Where you can hold left or right and you can change your aim a little bit. Oh, that's a big leg spike. I've never seen that before. That leg being that bad there. So this level here, there's a nice candy boost, I like to call it, where you can use the candy to deboost and get farther in the level. You can skip a few seconds of riding these horses. I guess this level is pretty cool in the tasks where they can use these umbrellas as platforms. But it's probably RTA viable maybe, but I don't like going for it at all. So we can just hover here and then use the candy here, and then get the level end faster. So here I'm probably gonna pick up some health here, just for safety. So this level's kind of spooky because I don't have candy to save me from bottomless pits if I fall into one. So that means I might die, actually. So I hope that doesn't happen. This room right here is really spooky. I think there's candy here, so there we go. So, are we coming up to the next boss? We are. So here's, I think this is called like Penguin Prison, I think. So the thing here is that he only fires to the left, so you can stand behind him and have a safe spot for a bit. And you can get some free shots in. And you can stop here and fire arm missile things, I guess. It's free damage. And it's nice and safe. So after this level we get a crystal which lets us go to Amon's castle. And that's pretty much the extent of what the crystal does. But it is a power-up that shows up in your status screen, so I guess that's worth noting. We're right about to hit the 10th life, so we might get invincibility lag, I guess. So Amon's Castle is probably one of my favorite worlds for speedrunning, because there's like no downtime, I guess, so you can keep moving. So after you pick up this star, you can just follow this guy to the end. Just chase him all the way to the end of the level. Also invincibility lag. So this level has these paintings you can walk into. The correct pattern is to go to the last one for the first group, and then the middle for the second group. Which I don't think you can figure out except through trial and error, so I guess you just kind of have to memorize which doors you need to go into for the speedrun. So in this room, you can cheese hitboxes with these night guys. And you can skip waiting for them, which is kind of neat. should have thrown a bubble at him. So this level, this might be kind of spooky, maybe. Okay, that shouldn't be too bad, I guess. I have full health now. Ooh, that knight just jumped right over me, I guess. Just gonna grab this invincibility just because. So, here's the last group of stars. Which power up we get is the ability to seal Amon away. Which is something. Which you can't really even fight Amon without getting the power up anyway. So it's kind of uneventful of a ability power up. Because you kind of need to pick it up anyway. So, the final boss here, it's Amon. He has two forms, which the cutscene right before this fight specifically states that he has two forms, which is kind of amusing to me. Oh, he's gonna go left. Wait. I don't know if this is a good pattern or not. You should have stayed in the middle after that punch. Because ideally you want him in the middle at the end of phase 1, because if he's on the side he has to travel back to the middle to go to phase 2. So phase 2, casually this is probably a really scary fight. But once you know all the tech, this fight's not too bad at all. Like, honestly, the scariest part of the fight are these red orbs flying around. And also this one, where he's just flying around. This is the attack I like to see, because it's prime opportunity to do damage. Where he just punches into the void. Also, the red orbs can block your shots, and that's no bueno. So, in a speedrun, this is the attack you don't want to see. Where he just hides in the background for half a minute. And you can't really do anything about it. But it's a really easy attack to dodge, so in a marathon sitting, that's fine by me. And later in the fight, he gets two orbs, which is harder to dodge. But we win. That was all his attacks. So, that's time. Like, sub 110 is pretty good for a marathon run, I guess. I was kind of rusty, but I feel like I did fairly well otherwise. So, that was DoReMi Fantasy, everyone. And I hope you enjoyed.